This game trusts in its player base to not be idiots. Again, mainly focusing on those original Stalker fans. But now, like I said, people are ready for games like this nowadays. They're looking for games that are just absolutely immersive, that put you in such a dangerous environment, and people get a thrill out of it in a lot of ways. Some people are going to play this game and be like, man, this game is too fucking stressful. I cannot handle it. I don't want to play it.
Hey everybody, before we get started, I just wanted to say, if you enjoy our content and want to stay up to date with our videos, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel. Thanks. So, on to the video.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Random Drop. And today, I want to talk about Stalker 2. Let's get into it. So what I know about Stalker, in general, I did play a bit of the original PC version way back when, and I found it incredibly hard to parse. It was thrown in this like weird Euro jank bin, and it was just kind of a game I really never got into, but I knew was respected by a lot of people. But anytime I saw a gameplay of it or saw all the mechanics and how tedious it was and the survival mechanics, it was never really for me. But as time has gone on, games have gotten more streamlined and easier. I think a lot of people are ready for a game like Stalker. For the fantasy genre, Dragon's Dogma 2 is actually this game, and Dragon's Dogma 1 as well, but 2 refined it quite a bit, where developers kind of just let the players go and let things kick their ass. Let players figure out things on their own, let things kick their ass. They're gonna make mistakes and get lost and break quests and so forth. And Stalker 2 very much honors its predecessor. It is just a sequel to that original game brought to the modern day. And again, I think people nowadays are more prepared for it. I'm more prepared for it. I tried to give Stalker a chance way back when, and I couldn't understand, why was it so hard? Why am I getting one shot? Why is this game so buggy, weird, and jank? And all the management and the food and the water and the survival aspects, I used to think of as annoyances back then. But now, like going back to Fallout New Vegas even, and playing that game and realizing how much of a joke that game is if you understand game mechanics at all, to where half of the game's systems are absolutely useless, and New Vegas has those survival aspects in that survival mode, but even then, like, those games are pretty damn easy. Stalker 2 is not an easy game. It is not it's not a Twitch shooter. It's not mechanically difficult to play, but it's a knowledge check. It's about understanding it and respecting it in a lot of ways. Enemies will pretty much two-tap you. If you just run in blazing to a gunfight and you're not taking proper cover, they're gonna flush you out with grenades, and once you're flushed out, they're gonna shoot you in the back of the head and you will drop immediately. Mutants and monsters and the anomalies are brutal and do tons of damage. This game opens up with you having to deal with one of the mutants, and that thing kills a lot of people. It killed me like 10 or 20 times in a row. So I had to figure out a strategy and figure out how to beat it. And even then, it's never clean, right? You're always using a ton of med packs to just barely get through it. And most games would never do that. What game opens up with this crazy mutant mini boss type thing at the very start that just kicks the shit out of players? Not many. If it's like playing Dark Souls 1 and getting to the demon boss and being expected to actually beat it on the first try. Thankfully, Stalker has a very generous quick save function, so you can quick save right before the fight and try to strategize. And what I did is I just fought it out in the field and just kind of traded blows with it and kept healing and ran through most of my healing items. But I've seen other people back up and run away and hide inside one of the buildings to where the monster had to come into a more enclosed space, so it's easier to see and fight, which is really cool when you think about it. And I wonder if the developers even intended that, honestly. You immediately. So as a PC player, I'm constantly hitting that F5 button, so I'm not getting sent back hours in the past. And sometimes there are moments where I forget to hit it and I get sent back 10 or 15 minutes. And it's frustrating, but them's the rules, man. This game trusts in its player base to not be idiots. Again, mainly focusing on those original Stalker fans. But now, like I said, people are ready for games like this nowadays. They're looking for games that are just absolutely immersive, that put you in such a dangerous environment, and people get a thrill out of it in a lot of ways. Some people are gonna play this game and be like, man, this game is too fucking stressful, I cannot handle it, I don't want to play it. And there are gonna be others who really just enjoy that journey, enjoy the immersion, enjoy gathering ammo, food, and healing, and it dwindling down over time, finding little nooks and crannies with supply stashes and so forth, finding artifacts to upgrade your character, and bumping into like random events or quests along the way. One thing I'll notice very quickly about Stalker 2 is how little UI elements there actually are. So nowadays with first-person shooters and open world shooters especially, enemies get like big red highlights around them, and you can mark them and tag them so you can track them all, and you're like this crazy super fucking soldier. Nah, Stalker 2, it's kind of odd, and I don't know if it's me or it's a bug or what, but I personally find it difficult to figure out if these enemies are going to shoot me on sight or not. Lots of the times they don't, but sometimes they do. And when they are gonna attack you on sight, there's like a little, hey, they can see you, they're about to attack because you should be sneaking or something. But there's just times out in the wilderness you don't even know, like, hey, are these guys about to fight me? And I find it really cool. There's not this like red obvious marker over their head, and sometimes there's missions to go like save people from bandits and things like that. And sometimes those people are just in the middle of the firefight, and if you're not paying attention, you could just kill the people you're there to save. Which reminds me again lots of Dragon's Dogma and games like that, where NPCs, yeah, can get in the way. You're gonna accidentally fucking kill them sometimes, and that's just the run. That's just what happens in the zone. And I very much respect this game for letting the player just go loose. Just, hey, go out there and have some fun. Well, have some fun. Stalker 2 is a very slow-paced game. You're gonna be managing inventory constantly, planning your routes, and there's gonna be pockets of firefights here and there that are really intense, but sometimes it's just like a couple dudes, and sometimes it's just one mutant that you're just fighting for your life as you try to kill the fucking thing. Sometimes it's just getting through an oppressive environment that has anomalies and mutants and rats just all over the fucking place, as you're constantly trying to use all your health items and resistance items and all that to even get through it. Stalker 2 is a very dangerous world and a dangerous game, and I'm having a lot of fun playing it. In terms of like the story and overarching story, I'm kind of paying attention to it and learning more of the lore. I'm not completely sold on the world yet, but I feel like personally, if maybe I had played Stalker 1, I'd be getting a lot more out of this, as there's just so many new concepts and things like that. I don't even understand. Like, I don't even understand what the state of the world is, right? Like, is it just this one zone that is super fucked up like this and people come in seeking riches and treasures, or is the whole world fucked up? And it's just very much like this as well. There's things like that that I super don't understand yet, or maybe I just need to like look up a lore video. But very much this game passes the vibes check. It's not the story that's carrying me. It is very much the vibes of the game carrying me through, where sometimes I'll see weird shit that I'm not expecting and be like, oh wow, that's really cool and wild. And I'm just interested in seeing more and more of this world and like what is actually going on. And is this a sci-fi game? Is it a horror game? What is actually going on in this crazy ass world, and trying to survive through it. And that's my pitch on Stalker 2 all the way through. The gunplay is really good and very strategic and brutal, and the world absolutely nails its vibe check. And lastly, I just really need to talk about is like, hey, what are the things that are just off-putting about the game? And really, it's right now there's a lot of news like that this game is incredibly buggy and messy. I've played about 30 hours now, and that's just not been my experience. I started it on launch. Currently on launch, there's a giant patch, and I'm just not seeing the things people are seeing. And my PC is like pretty decent, right? It's pretty good, but it's not top of the line, definitely not. I'm staying at a solid 60 frames. It is dipping here and there, especially towns. I'm playing maybe on high at 1440p. And yeah, the game could probably run better, but it's not like busted or broken, right? I'm not having issues launching and things like that. And maybe that's because I have an AMD processor as well, which might be another thing. But yeah, I'm really like, my main suggestion is like, hey, this game is very much worth playing, but you don't know if it's going to run for you or not. If you're in console, you're out of luck. It's a Stalker game. It's going to be fucking jank. Everyone's known this game is going to be jank whenever it was released, and it's just like varying, like, hey, how much jank is it? They're making this game in a goddamn war zone, and it's impressive that this game came out at all. They are charging money for it, obviously, but hey, you understand how this game was made and what went behind it and what's going on with it. But you also have to understand it's a Stalker game, and it's like the original Stalker. They're probably gonna be constantly updating it throughout its life cycle, and then there's gonna be a mod scene and things like that. So I can't really recommend it on console, but on PC, yeah, I mean, use your Steam refund policy. Get on the game, try it out, and if it's not working, not running, not gelling, return it. This game thankfully has a really short tutorial and throws you out into the world and doing quests and stuff very quickly. So you could very much get a little taste and see like, hey, is this game gonna run like shit or not? And if it does, return it, obviously. Come back when it's on sale, or come back when there's been a couple patches. But for me personally, this game is run fine. Like, especially like you compare it to a Bethesda game or something like that, dude, holy shit. Like, comparing this to like Starfield, for me, this game has like Nintendo levels of polish. Obviously it doesn't, but when you compare it to Starfield, yeah, like I've just had a incredibly smooth experience playing the game. But that's all I like really can say is like, hey, understand that some people have had issues with it. Use your refund policy. If you're on console, that fucking sucks, I'm sorry, but yeah, it's probably, I'm really surprised it's on. I'm really surprised they released it on console. I'm gonna be very real. It's probably janky as fuck on that system for quite a while. It's definitely not a Cyberpunk situation. This game is much smaller in scope, so a lot of the things are promising they could probably actually fix eventually. But like rating wise, just like, hey, this game is good, solid game, and it's a very unique game on top of that, right? This game is not like mind-blowing in terms of gameplay or spectacle or budget, but it's so unique in what it does, and it does it really well and puts you in a place, and it feels really good going through that place. But that's all I gotta say on Stalker 2. Let me know how you feel about the game down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next random drop video. Peace.